Beloved, I believe that every one of us is born with a purpose. No matter who you are, what you do, or how far you think you have to go, you have been tapped by a force greater than yourself to step into your God-given calling. And I also believe that each one of us has an essential role in the whole of humanity. You see, the purpose of me creating Antoinette Marie Speaks is to offer the wisdom of experience from visionaries, artists, teachers, and trailblazers who have walked this road before you and who have shared their inspiration and lessons with me. So let's go. Let's take this journey together and let's discover the purpose for your life on this earth. This is Antoinette Marie Williams. Well, good evening. I hope that everybody is doing beautiful and well and fantastic. This is Antoinette Marie of Antoinette Marie Speaks, and today is a good day. Today is a beautiful day. Even when we thought that certain things didn't go our way, it is still a great and fantastic day. Well, good evening, Vaniqua. Thank you so much. Thank you. It feels great to be loved and to be thought of and cared for. I am very glad to be on today as well. So I appreciate that. Go ahead and share to, let's say 10 of your, let's say 7. Let's just say 7, because today it's going to be a great day. It's already been a great day, but I just want to share this with you on this Thursday. Tell me how you've been. Hi, Ryan. How are you this evening, sir? Let me share to my group and we'll go from there. How has everyone been? I know on last week, I actually had another scheduled appointment that I had over a year ago and totally forgot it was on my calendar until I got a phone call and somebody said, "Aren't you supposed to be online?" And I was like, oh, I'm on my way. So I appreciate your grace that you have given me. I enjoy doing this for the people that I serve. And so thank you for saying that. So go ahead and invite about 7 of the people that you really, really know are either going through or you just love and appreciate them, because I'm going to get started in a couple of minutes. But before I get started, I want to tell you a quick story. You know, I'm a storyteller. I didn't know that until somebody told me that I was a storyteller. So I received it because I am a storyteller. So let me tell you something. When you do something, hey, Pat, hey, Nia, when you do something for God and you do it with good intentions, God will always show you that he saw you. God will always show you, he will always prove to you that he saw what you did. And so I did a thing, and it was a great thing. I helped someone in a situation, and I had been praying to God that he would bless my relationship with one of my kiddos. And I tell you, when you do what God has told you to do, God will come back and he will say, because you did this, and because you understand the principle of what he has already told us, then I'm going to open up this door. And I tell you, God did a great and miraculous, it's not even miraculous, he's just so good, and did a fantastic thing in one of my children's lives. And I'm very, very grateful. Who wouldn't serve a God like this? That's all I can say. Wax, do my A and B selection tonight, which I will not be doing. But so I'm very thankful. I'm very, very grateful. To individuals that have asked me about my dog Sydney. Sydney will be 7 months old on the 29th, which is a couple of days here. And he is a golden doodle, and he is doing a lot better. We went actually for hey, I'm not sure who that is, Facebook user. Tell me your name. We went for a walk, and really which a walk turned into a hike, and he slipped on a piece of ice. We thought it was actually it was snow. Hey, Ramel, it was actually snow. It looked like snow and that it was solid, but it was not. And so he put one paw down, and his paw went through the ice. And so we got him back to the truck, and he seemed to be okay. And we ended up having that next day, a mom know something was up. So I knew something was up, but didn't necessarily know what it was. So he kept licking his paw. And eventually we took him that same day, that Tuesday. That Tuesday, because he went on a hike Monday. We took him to the vet. And thank you, Ryan. We took him to the vet, and he had an abrasion on his paw. And I think it was a little too cold for my little snookum bunny. It was a little bit too cold, and we stayed out there maybe a little bit too long, but he had fallen through the ice. And so he's on antibiotics now because we don't want to get it infected, and taking some of the inflammation down. And my little snookum doodle had a fever over 103. And so I'm very, very glad that he is doing good now. He's over there with his dad doing something, probably sleep. So thank you for sharing. So I'm going to get right into this. So thank you all for praying for him. And I really appreciate it. I love dogs. And in particular, they have a special, special place in my heart. And they probably always will. I'll tell you that story a little bit on another day. So today, what I want to talk about today is, thank you, Brian. I want to talk to you today about guarding your focus. Guarding your focus. And I want you to interact with me today, because the more you interact, the more you pull on me. And when you pull on me, God begins to speak to me about whoever is pulling. That's the only way I can explain it. So just keep that in mind. And so one of the things is that, there's so many things that we attempt to do every single day, whether it's answer Facebook, the gram, Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever, our children, our career, our entrepreneurial goals that we've set. And many times we don't guard our focus because we get distracted very quickly. And I want to say to you today that your focus is too critical for you not to guard it. You have to guard your focus in this season. Many times, many times we will guard everything else. So for individuals that have children, we will guard our children. We will guard our car. We put an alarm on the car. We guard our money. We make sure there's a password so that nobody can get into our money. We guard our house. We have an alarm, on our houses. But how many of us really, really, truly guard our focus? Do you guard your focus? And the reason why I say this is because focus is so critical for you not to guard it. We can be so easily distracted. But we have to guard our focus. And for me personally, my alarm goes off when people around me are not focused. Like if you're just doing whatever and you don't have a concept, you don't have a routine, you don't have focus, like my alarm immediately goes off when people are not focused. Have you ever had a situation where you've been talking to someone and you're just like, can you get to the point, please? Because you are trying to stay focused on the assignment. And you hear people say that now, like focus on the assignment, or they understood the assignment. Your focus is too critical for you not to guard it. We guard everything else. And as you go through this cycle of life, right, you got to be doing something. You have to execute something, whether it's a dream, whether it's that you're getting ready to turn into a reality with how God is going to set that thing up for you. That's for somebody. Whether it's a dream, whether it's your career, whether it's a philanthropic idea, you have to be doing something. And many times we want God to do all the work. We want God to do it all. Well, God's going to take care of it. God has done what he's going to do. And will God do something still on our behalf? Absolutely. But the part that is very important, and a lot of times we seem to forget, is that God has already said, I've given you absolutely everything. Stay focused. Your focus is too important for you not to guard it. Your focus, and as you focus on what your intent is, it's too important for you not to guard it. In this season of multiplication that God is doing, right? You're going to have some distractions. I told the story on last week, or maybe even on Sunday, where I was set to do a thing and one of my children came over, and it was a distraction from me doing what God had told me to do. But when he left, I had to do the thing, right? And so as you go through life, realize that as you're focused on what you know that you're supposed to be doing, that you're also going to have distractions. You're going to have distractions. And with some of us, thank you, God. Distracted people distract people. Oh, that's good. I didn't even have that in my notes. Somebody put that please in the chat, because for those individuals that are going to watch this on the replay, I want you to get that. Distracted folks distract people. Distracted people distract people. Because sometimes when you're focused, have you ever been in class, or like you were in elementary school, when somebody was distracted and they just couldn't get, they didn't understand the assignment. And so because they didn't understand the assignment, then they were like, in the back of your neck, hitting you in the back or hitting you somewhere, because they were just like, I've given up. Don't get distracted. Don't be around distracted folk. When people cannot focus, don't be around that, right? Because sometimes people are committing fraud, which basically I'm just saying somebody ain't supposed to be in your circle. Somebody, thank you, Pat. Somebody, thank you, Beniqua. Somebody is not supposed to be in your circle. On Tuesday, I had a healing session with two individuals, and I tell you, it was a magnificent thing that God did. And one of the things that God had said for me to tell this person was that there's a person that you need to go to, and you need to tell them that you got to let them go. And I always say to people, if it doesn't resonate within your spirit, then I could totally be off. You're absolutely right, Devin. They take you off guard of what you are doing. That's exactly what happens when you get distracted, right? Remove any distraction that's in your life. Even if it look good, ladies. Even if it looks good, if he smell good, if he brush his teeth 3 times a day, if he have on Stacey Adams or Alan Edmonds, whatever it is, if he is not focused, and him not being focused also makes you to be not focused, again, distracted people distract people. then you have to say, think I'm going to let it go. You have to let it go. You have to remove the distractions. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're on the beach in the Caribbean. Let's say Aruba or St. Thomas. I would love to be in either place right now. And let's say you were there, and let's say you had your chair and you're just out there, and it's a really nice, beautiful, 81 degrees. Come on, y'all, stay with me. It's a nice, beautiful 81 degrees. And the sun is beautiful. And you have on sunscreen. You got on sunscreen. Got your shades on. You may have a hat on, ladies. And you're just feeling the sun. And then all of a sudden, somebody comes over and blocks your view. What do you do? What do you do when someone else comes in your peripheral and tries to distract and or block your view? Tries to distract you from what you're doing, tries to distract you from feeling what you're feeling, that sense of warmth, tries to distract you when you know that you are in alignment with what God has told you to do. What do you do? What do you do? One thing that you can do is that you can get up out that chair and say, excuse me, you're in my way. Excuse me, can you move to the right? You can do it that way, right? That's right. Ask them to please move. That's the first time. You just say, please move. And sometimes people won't move because they are comfortable with you. Come on, let's level up. So I want to say this in this manner. Sometimes people are so comfortable with you. They know what you're doing and they don't want to see you do it or accomplish something. So they will come into your sun and they will try to block your sun. Did y'all catch that? They will try to block your sun. And so there comes a time, and I believe the time is now in this moment, that when you know that someone is distracting you, you got to stand up and say, excuse me, I need for you just to move over to the right. Could you do that for me? Just do that, because you can never leave your focus unguarded. You must protect it. Just like I talked about you putting on the sunscreen, we protect what we love. We protect and we guard what we love and what we care for. So if we guard and love what we care for, that coincides with every single thing. Your focus. Don't leave your focus unguarded. Protect it. I just believe that some of you are too determined to go where God has told you to go, to settle for where you have already been. You can no longer settle. And don't get distracted when people say, oh, well, it's too large, it's too big, or why are you doing that? Those are distractors, because you've already gone down that road. You've already had a conversation with the great I am, and God has told you what to do. So you don't have to go back down that road and continue to rethink it. Some of us live in what I call the world of it's a good idea, and we never execute anything. We live in this space of, well, I could do this, or I can do that, or this sounds good. Don't that sound good? We call people what you think? I thought about that too, but what you think about this? Nah, I don't want to do this. This ain't what God told me to do. Well, I'm not really sure. It's Wednesday. I don't think I'm going to do that. Some of us live there. And God says that it's time to execute. You cannot be, it's 2022. You should not be in 2023. I'd like to say you should not be in 2022 in the third quarter where you were in the first quarter. First quarter begins in January. Third quarter, so you got January, February, March, April, May, June. Listen, July, you should not be where you were in January. Never leave your focus unguarded. Never leave your focus unguarded. See, one of the strengths of teaching is an outline. So when I come on here, or when I do trainings or speak, I always have an outline. I always have a focus on what I'm speaking about, right? If people that you are in partnership with, in collaboration with, if they don't have focus, that is one of the most frustrating things ever. Have you ever been, or you're speaking, or you're listening to someone speak, or we'll just stay there, and you're just like, I don't even understand what they're saying. It's may not have anything to do with you not being focused. It has sometimes everything to do with them not being focused. And I love what you're saying, Devin. I won't settle for less. Do not. There's no reason for you to settle for less. Less does not even look good on us. Pat says, I had an opportunity to follow God's word today. I had to focus on not being mediocre. I almost settled, but I remembered what I asked God for, and all I could remember was abundance, not to settle for less. I followed his word. Come on through the house, Pat. Absolutely. Follow what God has told you to do, even if it gets difficult. Even if it gets difficult. And so I remember a lot of times when I used to be in school, I used to remember, and you all can understand this as well. Have you ever been where you were in school, and mostly like elementary or middle school, where it was a test taking time, and your teacher would stand up. And back in the day, I used to remember I had a teacher. Her name was Miss Robinson, and she was a tall African American woman, and she had to be like 6'3", and she would walk around with a long yard what do they call it, yard ruler or stick, one of those really long ones. And she had these shoes on. I could hear her shoes click every single time that she would walk. And so I'm saying this to say this to you, is that I remember what she would say to me. She would have a ruler. She would put her hand on my desk, and she would say to me, Antoinette, stay focused. That's what I'm doing with you tonight. I'm just laying my hand on your desk, laying my hand on your shoulder, and I'm saying to you, Pat, stay focused. I'm saying to you, Ryan, stay focused. Don't get distracted on things that you know that are not serving you well. The things that you know, God did not tell you to do that. So why are we even embracing in things that God did not align for us to do? Stay focused. You got to get rid of even some of that chatter. See, a lot of times it's the chatter. A lot of times it's the chatter. Let God do his work, Pat. It's the chatter that makes us also lose our focus. In the midst of the chatter, though, is your focus. Have you ever seen children where when they don't want to hear something, they put their hands over their ears and they're like, sometimes, even if you have to do that, because you know what God has told you to do already. And when he's told you to do a thing, you automatically know that God's going to respect the thing and he's going to help you with it. Right? So I want to say to you tonight, thank you, God. I want to say to you tonight, stop responding to chatter and get your focus back. Stop responding to the chatter and get your focus back. Vaniqua, get your focus back. Hey, Facebook users. Hey, love. I'm not sure who you are. Can you tell me who you are? And so as you begin, listen, y'all, it's 2022. We are today is the 27th. You know, like next week is February. You see how quickly January has come and gone. Hey, Carol, January has come and it is gone. In the midst of the chatter, in the midst of the voices telling you that you can't do it, you're not enough, you're not worthy, why you got to do it like that. In the midst of all of that, push it out and keep your focus. For some of us, pushing it out is praying. Push it out and keep your focus. Stop responding to the chatter. Stop responding to it. If you have already know that God has told you to do a thing or whatever the situation is, and somebody else comes back up to you, say that's too big, it's too, I don't understand. Why would you want to do that dream? Let me give you an example. A sister of mine, my blood sister, her name is Angela Irvin. She could have stopped being focused. Angela Irvin is a woman that at that particular time was homeless with her 2 children. Her adult son was not with her. He was an adult. And as I posted yesterday, she, not by something that she did, but because of what she has done in being focused and continuing to push out her facial, her skin line, her facial cream and facial wash. I posted it yesterday. You can go back and take a look at it. She is now in Black, I just lost my train of thought. Sorry, you all. Black Enterprise Magazine. She didn't call Black Enterprise Magazine and say, hey, this is Angela Irvin. This is who I am. And I just really want you. She didn't do that. She stayed focused. See, some of us are focused on the wrong thing. Come on, God. Some of us are focused on, we're doing things for accolades. We're doing things for accolades. That's why you're not getting what you believe that God has told you that you're supposed to be getting, because you're focused on accolades. You're focused on, well, let me post this and then I'll get, 25 likes, 5 smiles, 5 hays. You're doing it for the wrong reason. You're doing it for the wrong reason. It's fine to post things. It's fine to do things because you want to help and to want to serve people. That's why you do it. God has brought us here on this earth to help and to serve other human beings. So in the midst of all that chatter, is your focus. If all you hear is the chatter, how you going to do it? When you going to do it? God this, God, how, in the midst of all of that, you got to take back your focus. You got to stop responding to chatter and get your focus back. I remember there's a gentleman in the good book, in the Bible, where God talks about Zacchaeus, right? And if you all know the story, Zacchaeus actually gets in God's way. I love this story about what this man did. He literally climbed up a tree, waited for God, waited for Jesus. He positioned himself for an encounter with God. Today, I speak this to you. Position yourself so that God can do what you asked God to do. Position yourself. You're asking God for a house. Well, if your credit score is 312, and you're asking God for a new house. See, many of us just want miracles from God. We don't want to do the work. And I'm going to say this, in this season, that ain't going to work. That's not going to work. You have to be just like Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus said, listen, I'm going to see the man. And Zacchaeus, because the Bible says that Zacchaeus was very short of stature. Zacchaeus said, don't matter. See, some of us will use our excuses. We'll say, well, I wasn't born with a silver spoon, or I wasn't, I was abused, or I was the black sheep of the family. You may have had those experiences, but you still have a responsibility. And if you want with God, if you want to have this relationship, this encounter with God, you're going to have to do what Zacchaeus did. He positioned himself. Positioned himself. You got to focus. You got to focus. So some of us have to go back and we have to reposition ourselves. Some of us have to go back and reintroduce ourselves to our own self. Say, yo, I'm not doing that no more. Devin, you have to say, I'm not doing that anymore. You have to tell yourself. See, excuse me, a lot of times people say, don't talk to yourself. You better talk to yourself. You better speak something. You better speak greatness to yourself. Because with the things that are going on out here in this world, somebody else may come to you and speak something negative. Why would you not speak anything positive to your own life, through your own life, through your own loins, through in your own spirit? You have to speak greatness over your own life. There's a song that says, sometimes you have to encourage yourself. Sometimes you got to do what I say all the time. Encourage your own self. See, here's the thing. I cannot let some of us are going to have to say to people with all grace and with all kindness, with all grace and with all kindness. You got to just say, I can't let you come around, because every time I come around you, every time we come around one another, I lose my focus. Every time I see you, I get just so excited about, doing something else, and I lose my focus. Some of us are letting other people come in our lives, so then we lose our own focus. When you go out, you guard your purse. You don't leave your purse. Even when you with your girlfriends, most women, I don't just typically leave my purse just sitting on the seat while I go to the ladies' room. We take it with us. So today I'm telling you to take your focus with you. Guard your focus. Every single day, guard your focus. Do not leave your focus sitting someplace else where you know that God has told you, listen, stay focused. People are going to ask you how you did it. Just wait. Sometimes you just got to wait. Sometimes you got to just tell people, I can't go. I can't go to the club tomorrow. I can't go to the library. I can't go to Miami. I can't. I got to stay focused. I'm working on something. I'm working on something. I'm working on something. Devin said, have a seat somewhere. God will show up and do something. And do what God has told you to do. That's the thing. We have to do what God has told us to do. And not go back and feel like, I always say this, is that I would rather do what God has told me to do than to have regret. I don't want to have regrets. Are there things that I, as I begin to get wiser and age, are there things where I look back on my 20s and say, man, I wish I would have done? Absolutely. That's why I can sit here and tell you, do what God is telling you to do so that you don't have regrets. Because there are certain things that you could have done at 20, you might not be able to do at 50. I'm just saying. You might not be able to do at 50. Or you may be able to do it and people are going to be looking at you like, why does she have on a two-piece? I cannot wear a two-piece now. And I'm just not doing it. Like, tangibly, can I wear it? Yeah, of course. But it ain't in the best interest. I'm not trying to put nobody's eyes out. So I say that comically, but I say that because I don't want you to have dreams and goals and ideas that now you're looking back and you're saying, wow, I should have did that. Many people transition or die with so many dreams that they never have tried to push them to fruition. I would not want that to happen. And I really, really, truly believe that there is so much greatness that's on here on tonight. There's so much greatness that's on here tonight. And you're absolutely right, Beniqua. When you start to have focus and position yourself so that God can do what God has said that he's going to do, you're going to lose some friends. I can tell you that right now. You're going to lose some friends. And rightfully you should. Because there are certain places and some places that you're going to be at the table at. Other people not going to be able to be at the table. They're just not. Everybody can't go where you are going. I know a lot of times we want that. We want everybody to come with us, but everybody cannot go where God is sending you. And there are going to be people in your life where you cannot go where God is sending them. Remember I said earlier, distract people. Distract people. Remember that. So when you find yourself having a conversation, or you find yourself putting a plan together, or whatever it is, getting your credit together, and then all of a sudden you get a phone call. Hey, guess what? I got some tickets to see whoever you like. And you set aside a certain time. What is it like that? You set aside 4 hours for Saturday, and then somebody calls you and say they got tickets to I don't know, Paddle a Bell. I don't know. What do you think that is? Talk to me. Think about what that is. Can you sacrifice your time? Can you sacrifice your desires for your future? Will you sacrifice your time? Will you sacrifice having some fun for your legacy, for your future? Because that's what it's going to take. We all are tempted to do things, but will you stay focused? Will you stay focused on what God has told you to do? Will you stay focused on your dream, to make your dream to become a reality? Will you stay focused on that? Even men, we guard our women. Most men, what they'll do is when a man is walking, a man is supposed to be on the outside where the cars are. The woman is supposed to be. I'm just, shivering, and that's how my mind, that's my training. Woman on the inside. We guard our women. How about you guarding your dream? How about you guard your vision with everything that you have? Guard your vision. Guard what God has given to you. Protect it. Like your life depended on it. And I also want to say, treat people with kindness. You never know who people are. You never will know who everybody is. Be kind to one another. Because you are moving on up to the east side of, the east side apartment. Don't push other people down. Don't push them down. See how you can help them. Let me tell you something. So today I went to get some petrol gas for my vehicle. And I was on the phone with one of my sons. And there was a gentleman on the left side of me. And I had my window up because it's cold here, y'all, real cold. Yesterday we had a -2. That was our high, was a -2 degrees, negative Fahrenheit. Okay. So today it was a sunny 29, maybe. Yeah. And so there was a gentleman to my left, and I had my son on speakerphone. And he said to me, he knocked. And so I let the window down, and he said, can I clean your back window? I said, yes, sir, you can. This gentleman took the little brush thing, cleaned my back window. Now I'm watching, of course, because I'm a military family. So I'm watching and I'm looking like, okay. I put my head down. True story. This happened today. I was eating a caramel apple, y'all. because I got some pecans in my mouth. I put my head down. Couldn't have been more than 2 or 3 seconds. Lost my train of, didn't even think about the gentleman. I was in conversation with one of my sons, looked up, the man was gone. Not only was the man gone, the car that he was in was also gone. So you would have think that I would see him get into this vehicle and leave. I did not see him do that. I say that to say this: be careful how you treat people. The good book says, be careful how you treat people. Show people hospitality so that perhaps you may be entertaining that of an angel. Just be careful and stay focused. Stay focused. Each and every one of you, Pat, Ryan, Vaniqua, Devin, stay focused. Stay focused on what you know God has told you to do. Don't let people go back and forth. Hey, Carrie, don't let people go back and forth and tell you what you're not going to do. Oh, well, you're not going to be able to do that. Says who? Who says that? Because my God says that I can have exactly what I asked him for. If I ask in the right spirit, if I ask, the Bible says that I don't, the Bible actually says you have not because you ask not. And then when you ask amiss. You asking for a Lamborghini. Why you ask for a Lamborghini and you got 4 kids? Who's sitting in the Lamborghini with you? Oh, okay, that's your weekend. That's your Sunday driving car. Okay. Be careful what we're asking for. I want to be like Zacchaeus. I might have some limitations. And Zacchaeus understood that. He understood, listen, I'm short. Okay. And he accepted it. But he didn't stay there. Come on, God. He did not stay there. What he said was, he was focused. He said, listen, I know Jesus coming. I know I want to see him. But I know I'm about 4'2". How can I see this man named Jesus? How can I see him? Zacchaeus said, I got an idea. I'm going to climb up in this tree. Who going to stop me? Who going to stop me from climbing up in this tree? I'm going to climb. I'm short anyway. I'm already short. So who's going to stop me? I'm going to climb up in this tree. So I'm saying to you is that even if you have something that may cause you to your mind to think that it's a limitation, it's never a limitation until you limit it. It's never a limitation until you receive that it's going to limit you. It's just a different thing. Zacchaeus was just different. And he looked at himself. He said, listen, y'all see this as a limitation for me. This is not a limitation. Come on, God. Y'all see this as a limitation. It's not a limitation until I accept that it's going to limit me. Oh, that's good for somebody. He said, no. Let me reposition myself. Let me reposition myself so I can see the man. Some of you need to reposition yourself. Some of you need to reposition yourself. And when you when you get into that repositioning space, all of it holistically, when you get into that repositioned space, stay focused. Stay focused. Oh, Devin, can you come help me with and I need you for the whole weekend. Stay focused. You must stay focused, because if you decide that you are not going to stay focused, let me tell you what's going to happen. And I got 15 minutes and I'm out of here. I'm out of y'all hair, as my grandmother used to say. If you do not stay focused, what will happen is that at the end, as you begin to, let's say, for instance, endeavor to do other things with your life, or let's say even that situation. So you all know your it. I don't know your it. Your it is, what is it that you have focused on? Your career, or your promotion, whatever it is, right? If you decide that you are not going to stay focused in that particular thing, what happens is that we get frustrated. We get frustrated because we know that we're not doing what God has told us to do. We know that we are not concentrating on what God has told us to do. And then we get upset with ourselves. Let me show you how this works. And I can only tell you what I've gone through. Okay. I can only speak to you from my own personal experience. So then we get upset. And then we get upset. One, we start to blame. Two, whether we blame ourselves or we blame other people or we blame a situation. Right? Three, we start to get sad. We get sad. And if you're not careful, that sadness will turn into grief. That grief will turn into depression. Because we know that we got off track. We know that we were no longer focused on what God had told us to do. So we get upset with ourselves. I'm going to say this to you, and some people have already said it tonight. Don't let distraction, don't let the ends of distraction, don't let other people, situations, systems, political integers, don't let it distract you. That then, because of the distraction, you begin to settle. You begin to settle and say, well, I guess this is all right. I never want all right in my life. I want all of it. I don't want just, it's okay. I don't want so-so. I don't want mediocrity. I want it all. Because I want what God has predestined for my life, whatever it looks like. And I'm going to say this in this way so that we can simplify this thing. There's so many things that God wants for his children. And you can have as much education as a thermometer. You can have as many degrees as a thermometer. You can be connected and you can network and you can collaborate and you can have partnerships. But if you are as mean as a junkyard dog, God is not in it. God ain't in it. We have to go back and think about and be very aware. So you can't get the best of God when you're mean and nasty to people. I know. Listen, I speak to you what I know that is true. And I know a lot of times you look at things and you're like, well, they have all this great things, but you don't know what's going on in their innermost being, in their when you're not looking, you don't know what's going on in people's lives. It look good, look like they got everything, right? Looks like they got absolutely everything. You have no idea what's going on in people's lives. But I want to say this. If you can hear me now, if you have everything, if you have the house, the vehicles, the houses, the land, all the clothes that you want, every purse, bag, perfume, wallet, shoes, if you have all of that and you don't have love, you don't have anything. Nothing. That's not from the book of Antoinette Marie. That's from the Bible. You don't have anything. And so as we're reaching towards all of this stuff, as you continue to stay focused, don't get distracted, but don't be mean. See, when you stay focused and don't be distracted and be kind to people, God will give you the peace that you want. I would rather have peace and a sound mind than to have as much money as I possibly can have. I would rather have peace. So you can't buy peace. You can buy a piece of pie, but you can't buy peace. My peace is important to me. And which I know God ain't ever going to allow for me to do this anymore, because I understand what it means to be homeless, right? I done did that. But I would tell you this, with everything that God has allowed for me to experience, if I did not have peace, you can't enjoy it anyway. If you don't have peace, you still can't enjoy it. If you know that you have a trip that you have to take and you don't have peace because you got to leave your children at home, you're not going to enjoy that trip. You're just not. You're not going to do it. So for some of you today, stay focused. Stay focused. Don't let people distract you from your dream or from your vision. You don't have to be mean. You don't have to hold a grudge, but you got to tell some folks, listen, I got things that I'm doing and I can't do it with me speaking to you and talking to you 2 times a day. I can't do it. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to put some things in order. Some of you got to put some things in order in your house. Because even some of the things that's in your household are distracting you. Whatever it is that's distracting you, whomever it is that's distracting you. I know she look good. I know she smell good. She got nice teeth. She got nice hair. Her legs are nice. But let me tell you something. She is a distraction. And you know she's a distraction. But you want her anyway. And if you want her that bad that you are willing to leave and give up and to abandon the dream, the vision that God has given you, man of God, then that's going to be on you. It's going to be on you. This is a respectable gender conversation. And the same thing for women. And I see women do it more. Women will go out on a limb and they will, set aside their dreams. Ask me how I know this, because I've been here. I did this. And we will settle for something that we know is beneath what God has told us or what God has promised that he was going to do for us. We will settle for it because we get lonely. I'm tired of being by myself. Stop being tired. Stop being tired. Go take a solo trip. You can do that. You don't need him to go with you to take a trip. You don't need her to go with you to take a trip. What if you went and took the trip and you didn't have the distraction and you were focused, and then when you got back, because of what God was doing to you and your mindset and with you as you began to have that relationship with him, what would happen if you came back and you just said, I'm sorry, I can't do this no more? See, that's a lot of times, that's what God do. God say, I need for you to go along. I need for just be me and you. Stay focused. Stay focused on what God has said that he was going to do. And you got to execute. We all must execute. Never settle. Settling is not in your DNA. So don't do it. Don't settle. If you know that you have an idea, my husband and I were talking today about some location types of things. And I said, listen, I've prayed about this thing. This is what I'm focused on. I'm focused on this. And when things come to you from the left, you just have to, if you focus on something, you say no, even if they look good, even if you like, well, that's my plan B. I don't know nothing about a plan B. God gave you the ultimate vision. Keep that. You don't need a plan B if you stay focused. Stay focused. So Pat, keep doing what you're doing, woman of God. Stay focused. Stay focused. There's nobody like you. God didn't intend for somebody else to be another Pat Hull. Stay focused. And when you decide that you're going to stay focused, that's when God reacts and God's like, hold on. She's staying focused. That's what God does. God says, wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute. I see she is still focused on what I told her to do. That's what God does. And then God will come in and he'll send you he'll send you what you've been asking for. And you'll be like, oh my goodness. So one of my sons, and I'm gonna stop in a couple of minutes. So one of my sons is he's an actor, and he's in commercials, and he's an artist. I'll just say that. And he called me today. Remember, I was telling you that I was at the gas station and so on and so forth. This was the son I was talking to, and he said to me, all my children have very distinctive personalities. So he said to me, he said, "Mama," he said, "let me tell you something." And I said, okay, because I could tell he was very excited. And I said, well, what's going on? And he said, let me tell you how God will do something when you are in alignment with what he told you to do. He's 25. This son is 25. And I said, okay. In the back of my head, I said, come on, God, come on, won't he do it? So my son started telling me about a acting gig, a commercial that he was in. He got paid for this commercial. Let me tell you what God to do. The producer of the commercial called him today and said, I just wanted to let you know that the commercial that you did for us, it got picked up for another, I don't know, I'm not an artist, but for another season or for another cycle. So because it got picked up for another cycle, we owe you some royalties for the next cycle. Y'all better come on up in this room. You listen, God will do it. Won't he do it? And I'm sitting there and I'm like, Lord, have mercy. It's nothing like parents really wanting their children to have a true relationship with God. Won't he do it? Beniqua, won't he do it? God will do it. God will take what you thought that could perhaps never happen. Not necessarily in this case with my son, but I'm just saying in general. Some things we think that God will never do, and God will show his face. He would say, listen, I don't know who you thought I was. I am the G to the O to the D. That's who I am. And what you thought I could not do, what you didn't even imagine me doing, exceedingly abundantly above anything we could even ask or think or imagine, God will do it. And that's what God did. So I say that to encourage you. Even when you think a thing may be over and you believe that you've gotten off course, once you realign yourself, come on. Once you realign yourself and recognize the great I am is, God will say, okay, I'm going to give you something that you didn't even work for. I'm going to multiply it because God is in the multiplication business. That's who God is. God is in the multiplication business. That's who he is. And so I pray for you today that every single thing that you do, that it shall prosper. Think about it, whether good or bad. That I want what you know. So that's why I say it's important to have that true relationship, that alignment with who God is. It's important. And I'm always going to say this. I got some announcements that I really need to make, but I'm going to announce those on next week. I think I'm going to announce them next week. But I leave this with you. Out of everything that you desire in life, for your kiddos, for your husband, for your spouse, for it's just you, be kind to people. You never know who you are entertaining. Be kind, be generous to people. Be in a space where you just say, I just want to have peace. I would rather have peace than to have a whole bunch of shoes. I'd rather have peace than have a whole bunch of people like me, because nobody can give me peace but the great I am. Through the great I am, that is the peace that God gives me, that I create peace within my life. So if many of you are thinking like, I don't know what to do, I don't know how to speak certain things to my children, be kind to them. Because when you're kind to your children, yes, come on, lean in. When you're kind to people, your children will be kind to people because you are the example, because you have set the example for your children. Just remember that piece and stay focused. Hey, Robert, stay focused. So if you have just joined me, I've been on for an hour and 12 seconds. Please go back and hit the replay. There's some really, really great nuggets up in there. And if some of your friends were not able to join me, listen, go back and hit the replay. And so one tidbit that I gave you all today is this. And somebody put it in the chat already. Stay focused. Remember and be very aware of who you are around, because distracted people distract people. You can do this. You are great. You are dynamic. God has created you from his image. You are great. Who's going to check you? Who's going to check you for being great? Nobody. So every single day, I'm looking at my affirmations on my board. Every single day, this is what I would love for you to say. I am whole. I am blessed. I am one with God. I am significant. I am exactly who God has told me that I am. I accept and I honor who God has told me that I am. You have to know that you are connected to God. Nothing can separate you from God, because God dwells within you, because you are, okay, I'll wait for Sunday to get into that. Listen, you will not fear anything. Fear does not live in your life. Don't give it an open invitation. Don't give it an open invitation. Stay focused on what you know that God has told you to do. And it will happen. It will come to pass. I thank you, God, because you are great and you are dynamic. I pray for every single individual that is on here on this Thursday, that they will stay focused, that they will be firm, that they will be set in the vision, the dream that you have given them, that their dreams will expand unto a great and dynamic reality, so that they will be equipped and that they will serve other people, because that's the love that you want. It's the multiplication. It's a duplication of the grace that you have given unto us. The love, above all things, love is the greatest thing that you have asked us to show. And love, as I say every single time, love is not just what you say, it's absolutely what you demonstrate. And I love you. And I do this out of love. I hope that you are doing and continue to do extremely well. Today is Thursday, so you have just one more day. Live well. Don't live in stress. Live well. This is Antoinette Marie. I hope that you continue to do well. I'll see you Sunday at 8 a.m. for Bridging the Nations, and then I'll be back next week, Thursday, and we're going to talk about everything else that's great. Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.
Hello, beloved. This is Antoinette Marie. You know, I believe that every one of us is born with a purpose. No matter who you are, what you do, or how far you think you have to go, you have been tapped by a force greater than yourself to step into your God-given calling. And I also believe that each one of us has an essential role in the whole of humanity. You see, the purpose of me creating Antoinette Marie Speaks is to offer the wisdom of experience from visionaries, artists, teachers, and trailblazers who have walked this road before you and who have shared their inspiration and lessons with me. So let's go. Let's take this journey together and let's discover the purpose for your life